Lafayette School Corporation is going to try a 4-day week at Vinton Elementary School. So it's been a lot going on in social media about that, and love to hear how you feel about it. But we don't know everything yet. But here's a little bit about what we do know so far. So they're gonna try a 4-day week. It's the first public school in Indiana that's going to try this. So we'll see how it goes. But the schedule is nominally going to be Monday to Thursday, 8 a.m. to 3:45 in the afternoon. So, if you're somebody who already has a flexible work week, if you're somebody that works for 410s or 412s or does an alternative schedule, this might work for you. I know a lot of people have been talking about, how are parents going to deal with childcare and their work schedules and whatnot. So, I certainly get if you're, a parent who doesn't have that kind of schedule or that kind of flexibility, that's going to be a little different for you. But there are certainly a lot of people out there that have got these different schedules now. So I think it's kind of interesting that the school corporation is willing to try something new like this. So it's an experiment. The Indiana State Board of Education has approved a 3-year waiver for the schedule change. So they're going to try it out for 3 years, and if it works, great. And, if it doesn't work, then they'll stop and try something else or just go back to normal. So be interesting to see how that goes. So, normally the requirement from the state is that students are in class for 180 days out of the year. So in order to get this working, the state has issued a waiver. So instead of 180 days, they've got some calculation that's going to give them the same amount of time in the classroom. So each school day is going to be about 50 minutes, just under an hour longer, and that's going to make up for the extra days that are missed every week. So, like I said, we don't know everything yet. I've pieced together some details from various sources and reporting. But the school corporation is going to hold some informational meetings starting this week, actually. It's going to be at Vinton Elementary School, at the school, this Wednesday, day after tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Again, a week from today on Monday, the 29th at 3 o'clock, and then the following Thursday, May 2nd at 8:30 a.m. So you can go in person to hear presentations from the school board, school corporation, their leadership, and how they think this is going to work, and get a chance to ask any questions. So now, a little bit of what we do know so far is that LSC has said that parents are going to be able to opt in or opt out. So if you're currently at Vinton Elementary School, and just to stop for a second, and let's talk about elementary schools in Lafayette. We're talking about the Lafayette School Corporation. And if you know anything about Tippecanoe County or Lafayette, you'll quickly realize that borders are kind of a shifting thing. So the borders of the city of Lafayette are not the exact same thing as the borders of the Lafayette School Corporation. So let's take a look here at their map of how their school boundaries are divided. Let me get the right screen up here. Here we go. Lafayette has 7 elementary schools, and I won't try to rattle them off by memory. I'm not that good. It's Glen Acres, Vinton, Murdoch, Oakland, Miller, Edgelea, Miami, and Earhart. And we're talking about Vinton, which is kind of this peacock medium blue up here, and it is the north end of Lafayette. So if you've been around Lafayette for any period of time, you'll know that it's not the north side, it is the north end. So we'll zoom in a little bit here, and it's bordered on the west by kind of Canal North 9th, the western extreme of the city. Basically the north end of the city, just north of Schuyler Avenue. On the east, bordered by Sagamore Parkway 52 that cuts through here. And on the south, kind of Fulton Street here, and on down to Union Street, not Main Street, Union Street heading through the north end there. So that's the Vinton Elementary School borders. We'll pop over to the map here and we can actually see where the school is located in the satellite view here. So down here is the mall, and we got the river cutting through in Purdue over here. So over here on the north end. So that normally in the Lafayette School Corporation, you go to your assigned elementary school. There are a few cases where there are exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, that's the case. But in this new 4-day school day, they're going to make an exception to that. And exactly how that's going to work and where your alternate assignment's going to be, and we'll find that out here in the coming weeks and months as we get into these informational meetings. But they're going to figure that out. So you'll be able to opt in or opt out. So, I mean, the flip side is like if you're at Vinton and you don't want to be there, then it sounds like you're going to be able to opt out and go to one of the other elementary schools in the corporation. But if you're at another elementary school and you're interested in trying this 4-day schedule, it sounds like you're going to be able to opt in and make a choice to go to Vinton in this case. It'd be interesting to see how those numbers play out, the number of people coming and the number of people going. I have a feeling that we'll see quite a few on both ends, that we'll have some families who, their schedule is fixed and they're just not going to be able to work around it, that want to get out of Vinton. And I have a feeling there's going to be quite a few families that are going to be interested in this. I know a lot of people in a lot of fields, in nursing and a lot of factories run 4-day schedules now. So I think, I could be wrong, but I think it's going to work. We'll see. Let's see, what else do they have to say here? So, here we go. They have said that priority is going to be given to Vinton students first. So we'll see how many people decide, at Vinton that they want to opt out, and how many people decide that they want to go somewhere else is going to dictate how many other people can come in from somewhere else. Second priority after Vinton students will be LSC students after that from elsewhere in the district. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out. So it's, like I said, the first district in Indiana that's going to give this a try. We'll see. They are lining up some options for aftercare. So they've already got a partnership with the YMCA. So the YMCA is actually apparently going to provide on-site daycare on Fridays at Vinton. So that's going to cover the entire day. So, that fifth day is actually taken care of during the day. But then there's also like the before and after care that will be interesting to see how that plays out, because the school day will be a little bit longer on Monday through Thursday. So probably the aftercare is probably not quite as big a deal as other things. The Boys and Girls Club have expressed interest in dealing with some of that schedule change as well. They've said that for federal holidays, that, if you're normally we're off for Labor Day, Memorial Day, that sort of thing on Mondays. If the holiday falls on a Monday, the school schedule is going to adapt, and they're going to go to school Tuesday through Friday, and Monday will be the required day off. So a little bit of change there. To be a student in the Lafayette School Corporation, I could see some potential for people going, oh, this is really kind of interesting. Maybe they live in an adjoining district. Maybe you live in the Tippecanoe School Corporation, or maybe the West Lafayette School Corporation, although I doubt it. It might have some interest in doing this. But you have to be right now you have to be a student in the Lafayette School Corporation. They do accept transfer students, but there are specific rules for how that works, and how that exactly is going to work in relation with how Vinton is going to work on their 4-day schedule is not something that we know the details of just yet. But right now, the rules are, to be a student in LSC, you have to have legal residence within the boundaries of the Lafayette School Corporation, or you have to be the child of an LSC employee. Those are the two big ones. Now, the third one is you can have legal residence within the boundaries of Tippecanoe School Corporation. So that's basically all of Tippecanoe County minus West Lafayette, and Lafayette. I think there's a few nibbles along the edges where we border on other counties. I think specifically like over Benton County, there's a little bit of a weird cut in on the county boundaries versus the school corporation boundaries there. But basically, if you're not in Lafayette, you're either in West Lafayette or Tippecanoe. So if you have legal residence within the boundaries of TSC, you can apply for transfer under the interlocal agreement between the LSC and the TSC. And then the principals and I believe the superintendents get involved as to whether those are approved or not. And I really don't know how those typically go. I haven't heard a lot of people doing that. If you happen to be in the chat and you have experience with that, certainly jump in and let us know about that. So, but like I said, the students do get assigned to the district that they live in, and it's the voting address of the student's parents or legal guardian, and you can go on and read all of the legal minutia behind that, and edge cases and whatnot. But basically, where your parent or guardian lives is where your address is considered for which elementary school you're going to go to in LSC. So I don't know a whole lot about this, but if you're not in the Lafayette School Corporation, not in TSC, I believe there's some edge cases and tuition cases that are allowed, but it's pretty rare. And it is also possible to move elementary schools within the Lafayette School Corporation, but from what I've heard and what I've read, they really kind of frown upon it. So they're trying to keep, the communities together. They're trying to keep, the people that live around the schools in those schools rather than, hopping all over Lafayette. So the Vinton going to 4 days a week is definitely going to be the exception to that. Personally, as a parent myself, I think that this is, a good change, doing school, Monday to Friday, whatever your particular school hours are. Every school is a little different now, especially coming out of COVID, but basically like 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's the way that, things have been done in recent history, but it's not the only way to do things. And so, trying something new, not a bad idea. I mean, we're doing it for work all the time. I mean, Zoom and remote work, these alternate schedules, 4 on, 3 off, 410s, 412s. So why not try it with elementary students as well? So we'll see how it goes. But I thought that was kind of interesting news. There's definitely a lot of chatter about it on social media the last few days, and I'm sure that we're going to hear a lot more as more details come out in the coming weeks.